Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, doctor. I hope you're doing good wherever you are right now. In this presentation, I would like to answer the questions by referring to the articles that you have given to us. I'm not sure actually if the answers will be correct or wrong, but I'm trying my best to answer it. If there's a wrong answer, I hope you can correct me in the class. Okay, doctor? We start with the first question. Can we master a foreign language without learning about culture? I think I need to highlight the word without here. And by referring to the articles, the answer is no. We cannot master a foreign language without learning its culture. So most people agree that language and culture are interconnected in some way. For some people, language learning and cross-cultural understanding are inseparable. So the answer is already stated clearly in this part. It's stated that uh, cultural learning involves sharing an experience through language, not just the acquisition of information, meaning that it's impossible for someone who could live in a foreign country for a quite long time and not have the opportunity to use its language. So it doesn't make sense at all unless a language is seen primarily as information exchange system. For example, like using foreign language only for ordering food or asking for directions. So the language is used only to handle information exchange system. It doesn't get far beyond that. So when we want to master a foreign language, I think we must learn about the culture as well. Okay. In addition, many other people recognize the aspect of language is through the shared experience. As we can see from this example, when English speakers learning French, they must choose between the more formal vous and the less formal tu when saying you. To do so, they must know when to choose which, but that's not always obvious. Which relationship or situations are considered casual enough to use to? Will college-age students use it when they meeting classmates for the first time? Will colleges who have worked together for many years use it? Will it depend on age? And then suddenly, the English speakers struggle to learn French as they must pay conscious attention to these elements of their experience, like degree of intimacy and social status, which they haven't had to before. So yeah, it's just what I've already stated before. When we want to master a foreign language, we must learn about the culture as well. So yeah, so the wider ranging our cultural experiences, the more we can mastery of these intuitive patterns. So I do agree with this statement. In relation to this question, I also found Chomsky's statement, which he believes that language ability is hardwired into our brain. So which languages we acquire depends on the languages to which we are exposed on a regular basis. So in order to be a foreign language master, we need to try uh, to get beyond thinking about language simply as an information exchange system. So we need to think language beyond that. We need to think language as a tool for deepening our relationship and creating solidarity with the speakers of the language. And also we need to have a desire to connect to the people, to share experience within the community, or in other words, we need to try to immerse ourselves uh, in the culture and also social life, as well as we have to possess positive attitudes toward the foreign culture. So, so that it encourages toward the the both language and cultural learning so that we could learn their language very well and become a master of their language. And also the writer also highlights that it takes time actually to make language a part of us. Even being a foreign language master also takes time. So yeah, we have to enjoy the process. We're moving on to the second question. Can we gain deep understanding of a cultural community whose language we don't understand? The answer to this question actually the same as the answer for the previous question. As we try ourselves to be open, being immersed in the culture and daily social life, as well as having or possess a positive attitude toward the foreign culture, we could be master of their language, and thus will lead us to gain deep understanding of the community as well. So, in other articles, Vygotsky claim that cultural influence, mental process, and language are dynamic processes that occur simultaneously, meaning that constant social interaction with those around us help shape the quality of mental abilities and language. Like, for example, we can imagine ourselves as children who is having their first attempt to learn language, for example, and the parents as the cultural community who we want to get close and get deeper bond with them. So with this scenario, Vygotsky coined the term talking to learn, the expression of talking to learn. And it it means that children, as we position ourselves as children here, verbally interact with others and they internalize language and use it to organize their thoughts. And also, other researchers also stated that as parents interact with their children, the children learn language and become socialized into a particular set of cultural values and beliefs. So from these statements, it can be concluded that as we are making development in their language learning, we also acquire specific cognitive skills and becoming enculturated into a new way of life. So so consequently, language and culture are both part of person's ecological system where they contribute jointly to an individual's experience. Next question. What's the relationship between the meaning in our head and the language we speak? Um, According to the article, there is no clear agreement as to the relationship between the thoughts, the meaning, or the perceptions in our head and the language we use to express those things to the others. However, in the article, I noticed the hypothesis that the experience of linguistic meaning involves a cognitive process of embodied simulation. So Bergen argues that linguistic meaning does not simply consist of abstract concepts or symbols that are somehow stored in our brain. Instead, when we hear a word, our brain simulates the experience that is associated with that word, meaning that this hypothesis tells that our brain understands. It's amazing actually how our brain understand linguistic meaning by simulating the experience that is associated with the word. As for example of this sentence, the dog jumped over the swimming pool. So by hearing the sentence, our brain responds by creating a simulation of what it would be like to actually see this, meaning that the word dog, for example, here uh, doesn't exist in our mind only as a disembodied prototype or construct. It's more into how the meaning we construct when understanding this sentence is actually a direct result of our experiences. So it became clear now that the meaning actually link to our experiences. As Bergen also added here, the embedded simulations we construct when understanding language depend on the experiences that we have personally had. Depend on the experiences. So when those experiences differ systemically across cultures, these can in principle lead to the same words being interpreted differently. Okay, for the last question, does speaking a new language involve inhabiting a different perceptual world? Or is language just a set of labels for thoughts that are mostly universal? According to the article, the answer is yes, it does. Language is not merely a label for thoughts, it's a tool of culture. It's meaning it's something which is developed in response to particular environments and thus reflecting wide variations in human experience. So as we start speaking a foreign language or a new language, it provides us with a new cultural viewpoint. In the process of learning a new language, we enter into the experiential world of the new language, and we learn how to use a new set of linguistic tools to express ourselves, even if we haven't lived abroad. So it's clearly stated here like that understanding of embodied simulation is helping us understand how someone can construct a sense of self in a foreign language even without living abroad. So yeah, I guess learning a new language has many positive than its negative sides. First, it helps us to develop our intercultural mind, or we can say it helps us to be more open-minded person. It's fun and challenging at the same time as it forces us to get out of our comfort zone. But it's fun actually that we can go to the new places, we can experience new things, interact with the people. Also, we can be more focused on the thoughts and actions of people who are different from ourselves. We can grow our empathy and sympathy toward the others. So yeah, in the end, I think learning new language help us to get to know more about ourselves, our own culture, and our own language. So yeah, I guess yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you, doctor, for your attention. I hope you're having a good day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.